I want to chew on some baka.
That'll be a good way to start this episode.
An extra C, right? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
God damn it. It would have been great to hear that before now.
Well, I didn't see it until now.
Well, we're live, so...
That's what happens when we miss episodes. Which I swear, people, we're going to get back on to regular, our regular days and times. Unless something else comes up.
Someday.
But anyways, welcome back, everybody, to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is, in fact, a live Star Wars vidcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. And today, we're going to be discussing everybody's favorite fuzzball, Chewbacca, with two C's.
This is the truth.
Full transparency, we've been planning this one for a while, but with the unfortunate passing of Mr. Mayhew, figure, all right, whatever, I guess it's about time.
It's rough because life got in the way twice of us properly conducting this episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the show is titled correctly in YouTube. It's the image that I created for the YouTube show that is actually improperly spelled. So it's weird that I didn't notice that before we went live.
That's okay.
But we're here now, so.
There's a certain level of professionalism people expect. They weren't disappointed.
You're welcome. Welcome to another show, people. It's good to see you. Good to smell you.
Yeah,
maybe
I can't smell.
Get some detangleizer. Is that a thing? Detangleizer? Detangler?
Detangler.
For your fur?
Probably. But, I mean, Wookiees don't like to groom. Well, actually, no, shit.
No.
That's Legends now. That's Legends.
Yeah.
God damn it. I forgot.
Chewbacca took Lando's most expensive product.
Yeah.
And just wasted it all.
Well, I mean, he didn't waste it. He appreciated it. It's just, he's got a lot more hair than Lando.
Infinitely more hair than Lando. I think that might have been my favorite part of the solo novelization, was Lando's concern that Chewie was going to use his most expensive product, and so he went through the effort of trying to dissuade him and hide it, and then he ended up using it anyway.
Yeah, that was great. And just the pain and despair he had as he watched him use it. Yeah. Good times. If you guys haven't read that, fucking read it. It's great.
So good. It's so good. But we're here to talk about Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
And this is, I think this is a challenging one. Because Chewie has always been presented as a sidekick and not as the hero that he actually is in all the movies and all the novels and all the comics and all the video games. He's presented in a way that belies the reality of his character. And I think he's the only character that until Solo never actually had a character arc and wasn't actually appreciated until that film, and then arguably even then wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, at best, we got 2 seconds of him in Revenge of the Sith with Yoda.
Right, and he looked like he was bench pressing a lot.
Yeah.
It was like his prison years.
It was all the CG. It beefed him up. It happens.
His chest went from narrow to super beefcake. Hold on.
Yeah.
There. From that to that. It was weird. I noticed that. I was like, that's not Chewie. That's not Mayhew. That's something different. That's a total CGI character, you sons of bitches. You couldn't get Mayhew in that? Just to stand there? Because it's not like he did anything. It was a CGI Yoda that jumped on his shoulder. You couldn't have Mayhew do that?
No, apparently not.
Weird.
They couldn't just throw Frank Oz up on him.
All right, hold on. Let's go to...
Yeah, let's get some pictures. Whoa, that's a good one. There we go.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Technology. I feel like my computer is dying, and that's why we're having all these problems.
It's probably sick, just like the rest of us. Just fuck,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sucking on a lozenge. Sorry, people. Do you want to give us a quick rundown about the, I don't know, the early history of the Chewbacca?
Of course. So he's old as shit. He was born in
Officially.
202 Battle Before Yavin. So yeah, that's pretty fucking old.
Bananas.
He is married to, but I always fuck up her name, to the one in the holiday special. And thanks to all the novelizations and stuff, Lumparoo is in fact canon. So thank God for that. So yes, he only has the one child, no other children. He got kidnapped a lot, big hairy beasts, and people managed to enslave him numerous times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he always gets out. Yeah.
Can I
Good ways to. Oh, go ahead.
can I jump in really quick, because what frustrates me to no end is that it's a species of genuinely intelligent engineers
Mhm.
that have this carnal, animalistic streak, 12-inch claws, and yet they always seem to get themselves caught. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I don't get it. And also, it's on their turf. Like, they don't live on the ground. They live in these big ass trees that
Yeah.
the only way to get up and down is either A, by a plane on, or like some sort of ship, and if they don't have clearance, they get shot the fuck down, or you get the way up, or get up the way that the Wookiees do and go into the tree.
Right.
So yeah, I don't understand how it always happens. And yeah, they're crazy smart engineers. Just because they live in trees doesn't mean anything. But they always get kidnapped by lizard people.
It bugs me because you have the Ewoks, who
Mhm.
live in trees, arguably are much more useless than Wookiees, and yet they defeat regiments of
Mhm.
Imperials. You have Wookiees,
Rocks.
yeah, you have Wookiees, infinitely more visceral,
Mhm.
infinitely more intelligent with modern technology, and they get enslaved, like, on a regular basis. Like, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Me either. Because I mean, they're warrior creatures. Like that's one of their things. They are fiercely loyal, and if someone is in danger that they're protecting, I mean, they will give their own life just for whatever. It's like,
Right.
oh, so you stubbed your toe. I'm gonna destroy this fucking tree.
How
Type of
dare
thing.
they?
So yeah,
Damn
that it's
door
always
jam, get in
the
the way of your toe.
Trandoshans that are stealing them. It just doesn't make sense because they're so much smaller than them too. You
Doesn't
think
make
they just pick them up
any
and throw them
sense.
off the tree,
Yeah, rip their scales off one by one.
or that too?
It's crazy.
That's pretty rough.
Uh, okay, but this is the craziness of the Wookiee. We're supposed to believe simultaneously that they're the most fearsome species in the galaxy. They rip motherfuckers' arms off. Everyone is terrified of them. Just the threat of a Wookiee getting pissed is enough to send anyone out the door. And yet, they are constant slaves. They are punked at every fucking opportunity. It doesn't make any sense at all. Of all of the creatures in the galaxy, I feel like these guys should be on par with Trandoshans at the very least.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
definitely.
what the hell are lizard guys doing? Like, they're always like bounty hunters and slavers. Why doesn't... I don't know. Is it because the Wookiees are just nice and they get shit on?
Yeah, and that's not even the case either. Like, unless you're an invited guest, they're dicks. Like, they will murder you
just
instead
roast
of
you.
say hi.
Literally. Yeah.
It's
Doesn't make any sense.
no, not
I
at
have
all.
a real problem with this whole framing of the Wookiee. Even though I genuinely love Chewbacca, there's... Can we jump ahead? Where are we right now?
Let's do this. Oh, we just barely started.
I want to talk about the life debt, because this is another thing I have a real problem with.
Really?
So Chewbacca has a wife.
Mm.
They, out of their love, produce a child. Chewbacca gets captured by the Empire. In canon, he's sort of used as a sort of a monster to terrify and punish war criminals or captives. And yet, like, he's not like a scary monster beast at all. And the first dude that helps him escape that confinement he swears undying loyalty to.
Well, I mean, that's the first time he had been able to get out since the Jedi were wiped away. Because that's not the first time that he's escaped from Imperial slavery. Because the first time, the only way he got out was with the Jedi.
Right.
And that was on his home world.
But
But
that was with
it was with Ahsoka and like the other Padawans, yeah. So I mean, that he shortly got captured after that. Like, it was not very much further. Like in the Clone Wars, it was like the next fucking episode that he got captured again, if I remember correctly. It's like the next episode or the one following that. Like, it's real soon after. So you figure midpoint of the Clone Wars, he gets captured, and then it's not until what is it, like 15 AB or whatever.
BB.
It's like right before A New Hope. Like, I mean, that's a good chunk of time that he's locked up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would probably do the same thing.
You just swear undying loyalty to the first scavenger that released
gets me the fuck out. Absolutely.
Well, this is the point that I didn't understand, because as soon as he got to what was the name of that mining colony, the spice planet,
Kessel.
Kessel, thank you. Well, no, that was the run. That wasn't the planet, was it?
Isn't
Spice
it?
Mines of Kessel. Was it that it? Okay, so he goes to Kessel. He sees his own people, his own species enslaved in Kessel. He frees them along with everyone else, and then rather than going with them, as Han Solo said, you know what? Do your thing. Go free your people. Be with them. Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this. You don't have to be with us. He's like, no, I got a wife and kid, but you know what? This smuggler, he's got something. I want a taste of it. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Totally does. It totally does. Because if you understand just like the pure brevity of the life debt, like that's something, as far back as Legends we know about. Like, it is a big, big part of their culture. Like, if somebody does something for you and you swear that allegiance, nothing breaks that.
So like every
Nothing at all.
Wookiee son grown up without their dad because someone like picked up their shoe that they dropped or something. Like,
yeah, and it's fucking honorable to not have a dad at that point. Plus you got to look at it this way: like, your Wookiees on average live to be about 500 to 600 years. I mean, he's pledging a life debt to a humanoid. That's like him getting through teenage years. And then by the time he turns 21, his dickhead friend that doesn't like to drink is dead, so he can go party with his wife and his kid now.
That's an interesting point. I had not yet considered, actually. Okay, so let's put the life debt aside. Let's put aside the absurdity that we're supposed to fear these creatures, and yet they're so easily captured and enslaved.
Yeah. I don't get it. Especially because they're known to be able to create weapons like basically out of nothing. Like, oh, here's a fucking rock. Here's a stick. Oh, I'm gonna develop a fucking laser gun out of this. Like, they are the MacGyvers of the fucking Star Wars universe. Yeah. So how they get enslaved? I guess I'd never really quite considered how ridiculous it is.
It doesn't make
they're so
sense.
easily enslaved.
It doesn't make any sense at all because they're constant slaves. And in fact, it's only like reversed when in the Aftermath novels, like 30 years after Return of the Jedi, that they're like, hey, yeah, let's go back to your home planet and like free your people.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. 30 years after? Like, wait, you couldn't be like the next day you're like, hey,
30 years after Return?
Wasn't the
Aftermath? No, Aftermath was right after Return.
Yeah, but they didn't go back right after. It was like,
yeah, they did.
It was like at the end of Aftermath. It was the second book. So
yeah, it was the second book. That's like what, 6? Like 5-6 years after.
I just feel like Return of the Jedi, Chewie should have been like, all right, we got that dude in the black plastic cosplay. Can we go to my planet now?
Well, I mean, he did, to be fair, but yeah, just Imperial remnants. It was a joke. But yes, yeah.
It always bugged me.
Dumb.
I just feel like Han should have gone out of his way. Like, instead of like reality being what it is, Han should have gone to Kashyyyk instead of helped out with the first Death Star, because his loyal friend who has been with him for, at that point, a decade, I think, like, why not help out his wife and kid at that point instead of this weird farm boy out of nowhere and this princess with a promise for cash that...
Well, I don't know. It makes sense, though, because, like, before the, first Death Star goes out, like, that is a slavery planet. Right. So there is a huge Imperial presence there because from the trees, like, they can get everything they need to, build shit, make food products for their forests and stuff. So, I mean, there was a huge Imperial presence on Kashyyyk. So, huge Imperial presence, one Corellian freighter with a couple laser guns. I mean, I get why he didn't go back immediately.
I mean, that's a good point. All right.
Because, I mean, in the Aftermath novels, they didn't go to Kashyyyk until most of the presence pulled out. It was just like the, oh God, what was his name? Name's eluding me right now, but the one guy that was stationed there that ended up going crazy because, he didn't want to believe that the Empire died and he wanted to just stay there, get high and shoot Wookiees.
Right, yeah, hunt them down. But that's that's another point that kind of bugs me because the rebellion right after the first Death Star should have been like, all right, you know what, you're a hero. We didn't give you a medal, but we still appreciate you.
Yeah.
How about together we go rid your world?
Yeah, God, man, I really hope. Complete sidebar, but I really hope at Peter Mayhew's funeral somebody gave him a fucking medal.
Oh.
I mean, I guarantee he's gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of those medals before because that's so original. But God damn it, that funeral, somebody better have put at least one on his coffin.
I feel like every person in the audience of the standing around, every family member was just like, oh, here you go. He was just like tons of them.
Instead of like your single roses at the graveside, it's like gives him, medal from the Battle of Yavin.
Medallions, hell yeah. That would have been sad too.
Yeah, definitely.
God damn it. All right. We already talked about him. I don't want to get sad. What are your favorite... I don't know. What is there anything else we need to hit on his introduction before we dive into other stuff?
Nah, not really. I mean, we all know what happens. Like the backstory is the backstory. Most of it you get through the books. Yeah, easy enough stuff.
All right. So, what's your least favorite part, if you can have one? Like, think hard. What's your least favorite point of Chewbacca? I've got one chambered. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hear yours. I'm trying to think.
Think about yours because I just laid it on you. I didn't prep you for it. My biggest problem with Chewbacca is he's too willing to go along with the situation. It seems to me like he should be willing to, die for his cause, whatever that cause may be in the moment, whether it's a money cause or an honor cause, or someone's gonna attack Han Solo and he's like, no, I will fight to the death to protect Han Solo. Someone's gonna try to steal his cargo, he's like, no, I will fight to the death with Han Solo to protect this cargo. Yet when after he and Han Solo built up this rapport and he swore ostensibly this life debt in Solo to him, he just let Tobias Beckett just take him. He didn't fight. He could have taken Tobias Beckett in a second. And yet he was just like, oh, you got a gun pointed at me. Okay, well, I guess that's it. I'll just go with you then.
Well, I don't know. I would almost counter that with everybody. They were all aware that he was an excellent gunslinger. And there is no way in hell he could have, even if he managed to get across after getting shot a few times, he would have been able to save Han before he popped Han. So I would almost argue that one.
See, that's interesting because I've always had... I guess I haven't been able to fully divorce the actor from the character watching Tobias Beckett. I'm always mixing him with Zombieland, White Men Can't Jump. I fucking Cheers. I can't remove Woody Harrelson from his roles, and so when I see him as Tobias Beckett, it's hard for me to think of him as this master gunslinger. I just think of him as a free smuggler, and so Han immediately latched on him because he wasn't enslaved in some way like Han was to the Empire. He was a free man working in a job. It didn't necessarily mean he was the best of the best. And in fact, the only testament to his prowess we ever got he sort of like dissuaded it by saying, "Oh no, it wasn't me that killed her. I just pushed Arsing off the cliff. It was the fall that killed her." So
Yeah.
we had that one moment, that one scene on Mimban of him, flipping his pistols and shooting people. But I don't know. I didn't buy his presence of being greater than a Wookiee face to face. I feel like Chewbacca could have just ripped his fucking arm off.
Oh yeah, easily.
And like that would be it. Especially when we have this Legends Chewbacca that is fierce. And even in the cutscenes of The Force Awakens, when he literally rips Unkar Plutt's arms out of his fucking sockets.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Chewbacca that we know in canon, and yet he was just like, "Oh, you got a gun? Okay, I'll stop. I'll just do whatever you want." Okay. It's like, fucking Rage Against the Machine, Chewbacca. What the fuck, man?
That is true. Especially, like, he's not somebody that ever plays the long game, which is ironic because of, the longevity of their lives. Yeah.
So that's my biggest problem. Other than that, love the guy. What do you got?
Yeah, fuck, I really don't know. Like, I mean, all my bitch fits got. What's that?
He follows his stomach too much.
Oh, dude. No, I can't fault anybody for that. I am feeling deathly ill right now because I was sitting next to the cookies at a barbecue.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so definitely can't fault anybody for that shit. I don't know. I mean, really, it's nothing to do with the character. It's just like I feel like we should have got so much more screen time from him than we did in all of the films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Do
you think we're gonna get more, or is Lando gonna take precedent in this new film?
I don't know. I almost hope that he plays second chair. Like, he's been gone this entire fucking time.
Yeah.
Chewie has had a bit more of a presence, at least in The Force Awakens. He had more of a presence than we're used to. Mm-hmm. So I kind of hope that he takes over almost the captain role. But I doubt that's going to happen.
I don't see that happening. It sucks. It's almost as if the writers don't think that Chewbacca deserves a chance to shine.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
That's like you never see him. Like, if there's one thing that I've learned about Han Solo in the time that I've lived with him for, like, literally, like, 40 years now, he's a fucking idiot. Like, he survives off of pure luck. Less skill, more luck. Like, he is just a lucky motherfucker. Chewbacca, on the other hand, like, he's the reason why Han gets out of some situations that he gets himself into. Like, he's the muscle. If it wasn't for Chewbacca, Obi-Wan Kenobi would never have even looked at Han Solo or his ship. It was Chewbacca that made that introduction in A New Hope. Chewbacca is like the linchpin in everything that's successful about the heroes of the Battle of Yavin. So I don't understand why he doesn't get, like, just desserts. Like, he's a straight up hero. He's like the two heroes that never get any respect in the Star Wars films are R2-D2 and fucking Chewbacca.
Absolutely. And it's bullshit too, because we totally got that payoff in Legends.
Yeah.
Like R2-D2, like they were both basically gods. And yeah, we don't get that in the new canon. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Can we touch on Legends before we continue with canon real quick?
Yeah, let's do this.
Because when I found out about the way Chewie went out, I lost my mind. Like that, it bugged me until I read it, and then I was like, this is probably the best send-off ever.
Yeah, see, I still haven't read it. I just know about it because, like, back when my fat ass wasn't a fat ass and used to go to the gym, I would go work out and read books with some dude. And yeah, there was this dude that just randomly talked to me at the gym because he's like, "Oh, you got an Imperial cog on the back of your head." I'm like, "Yeah." Lifts up his shirt, his entire side, it's the Sith code in Arabesh. I'm like, "Oh, okay, we can be friends." Yeah, cool cat. Yeah, he's the one that told me, and it's like, fuck. Really? Like, I just stopped doing everything that I'm doing, and it's like, I might cry right now. Chewbacca can't be dead. Because, like, at this point in time, like, I hadn't read any of that, and I had just started Outcast from the Fate of the Jedi series, and I thought it was fucking weird. I'm like, why isn't Chewbacca in this? And then he told me. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, a fucking moon crushed him. Like they were evacuating one of the planets the Yuuzha Vong was getting ready to attack. Like they had terraformed one of the moons, and were actually sending it on a crash course to that planet just because they were sympathizers of the Republic, right?
Yeah,
Or what?
but it was a situation where he had to. The only way that he could save Han Solo and Lando and the crew. I called him Londo for a second. That was weird. I don't know where that came from. Was to get them and send them off, and for whatever reason in the story he couldn't get on with them, and whatever. Like Lando was part of this sort of failed mining.
Well, and it wasn't just that too. Like Jason was there too, and that's where part of the issue between Han and Jason started, was when his best friend died, and he blamed him for it too.
But he faced down the goddamn moon, and he just roared his Wookiee.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I don't know. There's something about that. Like the inevitable was coming, and he still didn't go quietly into the night. He faced down a fucking satellite in space and just terrified it into his own demise for the love of his friends, his companions, those that he has fought with and sacrificed so much for. There's something genuinely sad about that, especially when he's never really respected as the goddamn hero that he is. It just drives me crazy. He's always a sidekick. He's like Robin. Like, fuck, he's so much more than Robin ever could be.
No, he's not like Robin, because Robin eventually became Nightwing, a fucking hero in his own,
Well,
vein.
didn't Robin become like a Joker too?
Kind of.
Didn't he? I thought he became a new Anyway, I don't want to get on.
No, that's a whole. Yeah, that's a fucking podcast in and of itself. So let's not fall down that hole.
Point being, I just don't feel like he's gotten the respect that he deserves, and certainly.
Well, and question: do you think it's he hasn't gotten the respect he deserves, or he downplays it and doesn't ask for the respect? Because everybody else, they kind of have this air of, oh, I fucking did this. I mean, especially Han Solo. I mean, he's one of the biggest braggarts we all know. Always talking about the Kessel Run and all that shit. And Chewie's just sort of I did some stuff.
Okay, that's tough, because I feel like, because we're dealing with a couple different factors here. We're dealing with writers, we're dealing with the character, we're dealing with the history of the character as we know them for 40 years, and we're also dealing with new writers, like we have the legend and the canon writers.
Yeah.
And so it's complex, because I don't think Chewie as a character is a braggart like Han Solo, and that's probably, opposites attract. That's why they got along so much. He's like, look, you do you, and I'll just quietly support you, and we'll both hopefully benefit, though they never really did. But he always supported him nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I feel like the writers should have given him an opportunity to shine. There's A New Hope, he doesn't get his fucking medal. That's fucked up. But okay, at that point, he was just a sidekick. We didn't know anything about him. Okay, so I can let that happen. But in a Force Awakens, Han Solo's best fucking friend, the man who Princess Leia marries, the Wookiee that helped save her fucking life from the Death Star and supported her by proxy ever since, she doesn't even give him a fucking hug. She goes to Rey when he dies. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Why would she not wholly just lose herself in Wookiee fur? That's what she should have done if the writers respected that character.
I hadn't even thought about that. That is bullshit.
It drives me nuts every time I see it, because he's clearly walking toward Princess Leia in the scene, and then Rey's walking toward her, and Leia chooses Rey, and Chewbacca walks by. That doesn't make any sense at all. They've been through so much together, let alone the history that he has had with her love that she just lost. So the only true intimate connection she would have is with him. That's a fucking stranger girl on a goddamn spaceship. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's just one more reason why they're downplaying this character who is integral to every success that has ever happened for these goddamn heroes. They're just kicking him in his Wookiee balls yet again. I don't understand it. No respect. Just none.
Just like poor R2.
Seriously. Yeah. That's why he shut down, by the way, in Force Awakens. He's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, probably. There's only one person that appreciates me, and he left, so fuck you.
I've been here from the beginning. Episode 1. I have all the data bank knowledge you need, and you guys just don't even appreciate. You give C-3PO an oil bath. What do I get?
Yeah. God.
Maybe we should do an R2 episode.
I think we kind of have to at this point now.
And then, okay, so you have reasons why he's such a wicked badass on here.
Yes.
Always has a funny comeback, even when you don't know what he's saying, you still know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, you'll see a look on someone's face, and you're just like, that guy, he's a funny fucker. And then, you know, we already touched on, like, the fact that he's a great mechanic. Well, no, we didn't touch on that. We touched on the weapons crafting and shit. But, I mean, excellent mechanic. He's constantly fixing the Falcon on the fly, just with what they have on them. And, I mean, that thing's barely held together with more than hope, like, barely more than hopes and dreams, as we all know.
I feel like there's a lot of bubblegum in,
like probably.
In the fucking Millennium Falcon. Bubblegum wrapped around a lot of different wires.
That would be my guess, too.
And that's probably like the most difficult act of a Wookiee is to properly chew gum, not get it stuck in his fur as he pulls it out in like strands.
Yeah. Well, not to mention them big ass fucking sausage fingers and trying to like delicately mess with wiring.
What did you think about those sausage fingers?
God, that was so fucking weird.
Like they have to have them, but
yeah, I mean it made sense. Like that's the thing, it made sense. But I mean, we had what 4 other films we saw him in up to that point that you didn't see his fingers. You just saw his hands. They were just fluff.
Yeah, it's weird because we were just looking at Return of the Jedi when Leia was bringing him into Jabba's palace as a prisoner, and it showed his hands. It just showed his little black fingertips, and everything else was fur. Fast forward to The Force Awakens, and his whole hand is black, and the fur is just up to his wrist. I feel like there's some consistency issues here.
Nah, I can just boil it all down to the fact that, you know, he's 40 years older.
Right.
You know, everybody thins a little as they get older, Adam.
As humans get hairy palms, Wookiees get
yes. That's exactly what it is. He's been beating it too much.
He has to have been. There has to be like a Millennium Falcon refresher tie on the doorknob code between Han Solo and Chewbacca, right?
I would imagine you would hear it if it was Chewbacca. Like, just no, it doesn't seem like they would do anything quiet and subtly, especially an act like that.
Fucking Han Solo's just like hands and face, like, oh, why? Again with the fucking Wookiee masturbation.
Yeah, it's like the other side of the ship, and he's just got earplugs and still is like, Jesus Christ.
You better clean it up this time.
We gotta get to port.
Took me 3 days to clean up last time. You just go everywhere. Go in the tissue. Use the tissues.
I would imagine it would be a pretty big load. I think he would need a little bit more than tissues. Just kind of seems like it would be.
Oh my God. What if he just like goes in the fur, and that's part of what makes the fur just fucking filth?
Oh, that's
like he just smells like cum all the time. Like no one says it, but he does. That's why Princess Leia didn't hug him after Han died. She's like,
you know what? That makes perfect sense. He doesn't get the medals. He doesn't get the hugs. Nobody wants to get near him.
Watch the cum out of your fur, Chewbacca. God damn.
We just totally fucking solved the mystery.
We cracked this nut.
He's
open.
Covered in Wookiee cum.
Oh, poor Chewbacca.
You guys heard it here first.
Okay, so I want to touch on really quick because I've noticed personally just some inconsistencies with the character. Who do you think played him better, Peter Mayhew or Jonas Sotomayor? I don't know if I said that right. Sotomayor. Sotomayor?
Maybe. It could be. Just say that really tall guy.
Jonas.
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, I would have to say Peter Mayhew just because that's who created the fucking character, essentially.
It doesn't feel like there's a difference to me, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could kind of see it in the run.
There's that. I mean, and the physicality is going to be a little bit different because it's a different actor and all, but there's just an approach that I think is a little bit different. You know, you have... don't know. Maybe this is all just in my head. I'm reflecting on the Chewbacca that's like the super gentle giant versus the Chewbacca that we know from Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Han Solo with Junas, who plays him as if he were scary or something. Like, the only scary part we ever got from Chewbacca in the original films was when they were playing Djarik, and Han Solo was telling the droids to let the fucking Wookiee win. Like, that was it. Other than that, he was just sort of chasing after Han the whole time, right?
No, I mean, he scared some Ugnaughts at one point.
He scared a mouse droid. That was pretty terrifying.
And he did scare a mouse droid, too. So, I mean, he scared two things. I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
Did he scare the Ugnaught, though? I feel like they were just playing keep away. And they were just
they
fucking with
were.
him.
And then he scared him. That's how he got fucking Burrito's head. He's like, oh, shit, he might actually do something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a cute little pig guy. He might eat me.
He's just like, I mean, the scariest thing he did was pull a dude out of an ATST. And that's genuinely, if I was that dude, I'd be fucking scared. But
like, that was it. Especially how high up that is. That'd probably be a little
50 feet.
Yeah.
And you have cannibals at the bottom or meat-eating fucking teddy bears ready to bite your face off.
Yeah, I mean, that's vicious. Kind of.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I feel like in the other ones...
I get what you mean, though.
Yeah. Like, he was letting bombs off. Like, what did he do in the original trilogy that could compare to sort of the, I don't know, the viciousness that he did in the later films? And I don't, like, he threw a dude on his head and, like, busted his body up in Solo. That was just fucking hardcore. That was the Chewie that I always wanted to see, because that's what we were told he was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we were lied to. So that's my point.
Well, now they're making up for it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right. So no difference. I think it certainly seems like in all the sort of behind the scenes commentary and sort of aside comments we get from different actors and actresses that play alongside whomever is playing Chewbacca, there's a lot of hugs involved. No matter what, everyone wants to hug Chewbacca.
Oh yeah, you got to fucking do it.
And Chewbacca's always willing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, don't you want to hug him?
I would love to hug Chewbacca.
Wookiee hugs are excellent.
If I could. That's the best line in Solo. You never felt so safe in the arms of, when you're like falling asleep in the arms of a Wookiee.
Like, that's just... God damn. I got to watch that again.
So good.
Those performances, man.
There's small little moments in it that just make the entire movie. Like, large moments are kind of ruining it, but small moments make it. All right, what else do we have here? He was on an episode of Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah, there was a crossover. I mean, it's not canonical, of course, but
right.
Yeah, they just had an adventure with Han Solo and Chewbacca.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I did. I fucking love that show. Back when I had cable, I used to watch it way more than I probably should as an adult.
You and every 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Giggling and watching.
That's exactly what it was.
Did you think it was weird that Han Solo acted like he never thought to use Chewie's blaster?
Yeah, that was Well, I find it hard to believe that he never used it, period.
Right.
Because he's had multiple bowcasters, because that's one of those things that they handcraft, and he would just randomly build shit.
I just feel like at some point he should have been like, you know, you think your little stupid pistol's great. Try this.
Well, and the way that did bother me quite a bit in The Force Awakens. Like, the way he was even talking to him about it, it was like they didn't know each other.
Yeah, like they hadn't been running together for 40 years.
Yeah, it bothered the fuck out of me. Like, it pulled me out of the film the first time I saw it. Because it's like...
Well, he also treated him like a little fucking baby. Like, he got hit with one blaster, Chewie went down, started crying. Finn came in to, like, you know, bandage him like a combat medic. And Han is like, oh, stop complaining, you fucking baby, or don't be a baby, or something like that. I was just like,
yeah, that's
your best fucking friend, dude. He got shot. That's your line? Don't be a baby? Your best friend got shot? Like, fuck. I would be like freaking like, take over, Finn. I've got my friend, you know? Like, I've got to take care of him. And he's just like, no, stranger who I don't know at all. and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure is a fucking First Order like deserter. Let's
Well, no, at that point he knew he was a defector.
yeah, I don't know.
It's-
It was weird, is all. Not right.
Yeah.
It was not
Yeah.
consistent. And how long? This is the other part of it that really drove home the idea that Han Solo is a total loser, which I don't like that idea. But I feel like Force Awakens hit home on it so hard that you can't really see Han Solo any other way. Is when he was in that sort of triad. He had the Death Gang on one side and the other gang, I can't remember their name, on the other, that he like owed money to them both, and they're like, you're out of tricks. There's nowhere to go now, and
Kanji
it
Club.
just presented Han Solo. I'm sorry,
Kanji Club.
Kanji Club. Thank you.
That's what,
It just presented him as like a straight up like loser. Like he is conned. He's never succeeded at anything. All he's done his whole life is con people. He's out of cons. He's an old man. Even Chewbacca's like, no, we sort of failed all these different times before. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you ruining these characters that we saw as kids as heroes, and you're making them like, you're changing the narrative? Like, I don't know. There was always cues that he was stupid, from the original trilogy, but they didn't never really hit it home that he was a loser. Like,
no.
fuck.
Well, I think they just wanted to show that he fell hard after he, ran away from his wife and his family.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it. But yeah, it wasn't good stuff.
It drove me nuts. And then why would someone like Chewbacca hang out with that? You're a loser by
because
proxy.
No. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, he swore a life debt. I mean, you got to give him that much. Like, he held true to his word.
All right. Still bugs me.
Yeah.
I like him too much to see him do that stuff. He hand built his different bowcasters, you say here.
Yeah, the one that he was using in the Force Awakens, it was built from an E11.
The only thing that could kill him in Legends was a moon smashing down on a planet and squish kebabbing him.
Yep, squish kebabbing him. That's a technical term. Yeah. You guys need to see these notes. It's pure gold.
It's pretty awesome.
That's what happens when it's like 3 a.m. I'm drinking and making notes because I didn't have time any other time.
I do like random awesomeness here. He was voiced by walruses, bears, tigers, camels, and badgers.
Yeah.
And a black bear.
It's the sound guy that came up with his voice. It was just a whole bunch of random noises from those various animals. But the most prominent one, of course, it was a black bear, and his name was Tarek, who sadly died in 1994 of heart issues. Because I know you guys all wanted to know that.
Yeah. The more you know.
Yeah, I was always under the impression that it was, just different filters and voices being put together. I didn't realize that it was a bunch of different animals. So I thought that was pretty damn interesting.
Yeah. I like that. I like that he was based on Indiana, an Alaskan Malamute dog owned by George Lucas.
Full fucking it's like super meta. Because I mean, if you think about it, Chewbacca's Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Because Indiana Jones was named after the dog.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw that. It made me giggle quite a bit.
You were named after a dog. Or you took the name of the dog. I love that dog. Yeah,
Dog.
I love that. I really like the original Ralph McQuarrie designs, how they use that to create the character Zeb and the alien species that Zeb was. I can't remember right now. In Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Because they took, they didn't... Star Wars Rebels is like an homage to Ralph McQuarrie's artwork.
Yes, it is.
All the way from Vader designs to lightsabers to everything. Like they went back to those and really farmed that aesthetic out, and I really respected that. But I like that they didn't throw away what Chewie was originally, like his original sketches and stuff. They're like, no, we're going to use this, we're going to move this forward and sort of pay homage to the history and everything in the process. And so it's kind of nice seeing him in a way that, I don't know, you think about a character like Jabba the Hutt, who used to be a human with a lot of fur, and he ended up being a slug, and you can then see the progression that character design to realization on screen can take. And I think seeing the evolution from Alaskan Malamute to that weird, partially hairy, non-hairy phase Zeb character from Star Wars Rebels to the Chewie that we know as the evolution of the Wookiee, I think is a very interesting thing. You know.
Well, and even like the really interesting link between like Zeb's species. Again, I'm losing my brain too, so I can't remember. But like the weird transitional species that's in between those guys and the Wookiee, like they were basically like almost like a cat, and those were weird. I'm really glad he didn't turn out like that.
Yeah, the sketch comes up in this cycling that I have here of images and stuff. It's pretty funny when it comes up.
Oh yeah, that's
I'll try
great.
to point it out. I think it's the next one after this too, actually.
Good old lump.
What are your favorite parts of, or maybe a favorite experience of Chewbacca? What do you love most?
Shit, I don't know. Every time you ask me this, I always forget. It's like I love the character so damn much. It's just like it's hard to pin down one single thing, because like out of the entire universe, like the entire Star Wars universe, like if I had the chance to hang out with any character for a day, just fucking hang out with him, it would be him. So it's like he's got a special place in my heart. So I can't really pick just like a single thing.
I really like that he was afraid to go in the trash compactor.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
I thought that was great. He was just sort of terrified of it for whatever reason. Yeah. Like maybe he sensed there was something in it, or it was a dark, confined space, or whatever. And that when he got back out, Han was like, "Where are you going? Get back here!" And he just shoots like in the trash compactor because he was afraid of whatever was in there. I thought that was funny. And that he leads. He's a carnal animal at the bottom of it all, you know, like at everything, every corner. Like the reason why the Ewoks captured them was because he went and pulled on the trap of the monster, like the little animal, because he was hungry. Yeah. He wanted to eat this beast hanging on a stick. He was like, "I want to eat." He's just like, that's Chewbacca. Like he's a carnal creature that he doesn't know why he does things at times. He just does them because it's in his nature, and you know, you got to appreciate that, whether it's ripping people's arms off or going after an animal that's stuck in a tree. Like, that's him. But at the bottom of it all, he cares so much about his friends that he'll stick by this failing smuggler at every turn. And annoying as fuck characters like C-3PO, he cares enough to pick up their pieces and put them back together again.
Yeah.
No one else would have done that. R2 wouldn't have done that.
Well, R2 couldn't. He doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Well, he was also on a different planet. But, I mean, point being,
there's that too.
All C-3PO ever did was verbally abuse R2. So, like, fuck him. Like, I feel like R2, if he was there, he would have been like, you know what? That's what you get, motherfucker. And he would have, like, rolled away. As he rolled away. It's just like, you get it.
Love that.
Like, that's what you deserve. But Chewbacca was just like, like, I'm going to fix you up. You know? I care.
That was excellent.
I don't know. I really love when Chewbacca finally sees Han Solo as a captive in Jabba's palace. And he just freaks the fuck out. And he's like grabbing Han's sweaty ass fucking head and pulling his hair back, trying to groom him a little bit. He's like, "My friend, you're alive." Yeah. And Han's like, "Fuck, what's happening? Oh my God, is that you? Fuck."
It's like almost at times he thinks of people as pets, like his friends as pets. It's like, that's awesome. Because they probably think of you as a pet.
And it's weird because everyone, there he is. That's that weird fucking Wookiee look. The Ralph McQuarrie one. Everyone like scratches Chewie as if he were a dog, and yet Chewie pets everyone else like they were the dog. It's a symbiotic dog relationship. He's like, no. All right, you're gonna scratch me? Fine, motherfucker. I'm gonna scratch you too. How you like it?
It's like he probably just does it because everybody else does it. He's like, oh, that's apparently how you greet people.
This is what humans do. Okay, here, a scratch behind your ear, pet your head. There you go. You're good. I do like how in Legends, he's always a champion warrior. You know, he's always on the rebellion side of things. Like in The Force Awakens, wasn't he one of the Wookiees in that? Am I making that up?
man.
I'm sorry, not
I
the
don't.
Force Awakens. I'm sorry. Force Unleashed.
I know what you're talking about, the
Yeah.
Force Unleashed.
When they're slaves.
I want to say yes. I think he's actually one of the
Maybe I
ones.
made it up.
No. I'm pretty sure he's one of the ones that's on the mining moon that's next to the Death Star.
Right.
Not one of the ones that's actually building the Death Star. I'm pretty damn sure that is. But even that wasn't really considered Legends, like a part of the canonical line of
Right.
Legends. Because everybody fucking hated the Force Unleashed series for whatever dumb reason.
Really?
Oh yeah, like it's outside of the 2 books and the 2 video games.
Yeah.
Like none of that counts.
Right.
Like even before, Disney took over.
Like that was a George approved. He was like, let's just go
It was-
wild with it. Like it was like an Elseworlds version of Star Wars, you know?
Yeah,
This is like,
that was one that
go
just
crazy.
barely went by Uncle George too. Like he put the kibosh on that numerous times.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah, pretty damn sure it was.
I just
Chewbacca
like the idea
those.
that he's always a hero, you know, in his own right. Like he's always doing what, you know, as far as like the dichotomy of good and bad, Empire, Rebellion. He's always on the right side of things, no matter what. Even at personal peril, personal sacrifice, he's going to do it because it's the right thing, because that's his character.
Well, and more often than not, too, with him, he's almost like the silent leader. Like, even though he's not the one that's like out, voicing everything, like he's sort of like pushing people into their places where they need to be to get things done.
He's like the
especially when
gigantic Geppetto. The consciousness. I'm your subconscious.
Yeah.
No, wait, not Geppetto. What's the fucking cricket's name? Jiminy Cricket.
I'm like, no, that wasn't Geppetto. Geppetto was the dad. Or is he talking about my Camaro? Because that was Geppetto, too.
I clearly don't recall Pinocchio properly. He was the fucking cricket. Jiminy Cricket or whatever.
Yes, Jiminy Cricket.
Like he was the silent moral compass. Not so silent because he roared all the time. Of every character, which was just great. And you know, here's something that I never really fully appreciated until until Solo, to be quite honest. I never appreciated fully the reaction that Chewbacca had to Luke at the first Death Star, trying to put cufflinks on him, and him freaking out. Until I found out where that came from. Like, he was a slave. He doesn't want to be a slave again. Why would you try to put fisticuffs on me, or whatever the fuck they're called? Electro.
Yeah, it's funny too, like, because we had shit before Solo of him being enslaved. We had the couple of episodes of the Clone Wars where they were on Kashyyyk. But yeah, it never really hits home, like, just how bad he had it until you see it like that.
He was just a mess.
Yeah.
I did like seeing him like that, because as terrible as Han Solo's youth as a scrum rat was, you always felt like he was gonna be okay. Like, it's Han Solo, he'll figure a way out. He's lucky. Luke was always taken care of. Leia was always taken care of. Lando, you didn't really know about his past, but you knew he always landed on his feet because he was super smart and he could trick anyone out of anything. And so of all the heroes, he was the only one that you knew had a real dark period. You didn't fully grasp it unless you read like the Legends novels, or you saw some of the comics, or watched the Clone Wars later, and then watched watched Solo later on. But to see him in that environment and see how he genuinely was treated like just an animal, like a monster, you didn't really fully grasp that out of everyone, he suffered more and continually suffers more. He has a kid, he has a wife, and he's given his life to this doofus. For all intents and purposes. I feel like he's continually suffering all the time.
Yeah. He's like a monk without the religion.
Yeah. Do you think he ever, do you think he has a dark side? Like, there's a line in The Force Awakens when he said, we started with much more, we had more people when we started capturing these, those big tentacle monsters. I can't remember what they're called.
Dianogus.
No, the Rathars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's like, when we were capturing them, we had a much bigger crew, and Chewbacca was like, "Rrr, rrr, 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 rrr." You know, he's like, yeah, no, they all got eaten. Like, that's a thing. Chewbacca clearly doesn't give a fuck about most people, but he really does have a good heart.
He does, but I mean, a lot of people with good hearts have a dark sense of humor, and especially with the shit that he's seen and experienced, like I would find it hard to believe that he couldn't make a joke out of anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Can we talk as we're sort of hitting our time limit here, maybe of potential loss? Do you think we're gonna lose Chewbacca?
Oh yeah, it kind of seems like that's where they're leading us to. Like this is supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga, and he's a crucial part of said saga.
Oh fuck! You think they're gonna kill him off in Episode 9?
I honestly do, because they killed off fucking Han. Leia, they kind of have to kill off.
Oh my god!
I honestly, I think it's gonna be fucking when Lando and Chewie are piloting the Falcon. It's just them on board, and then somebody blows the fucking Falcon to pieces.
What? Oh my gosh!
That's where I see it going, because Lando's got to check out too if they keep going this way.
Oh, I mean,
I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen, because I would be totally fine if we didn't see him again in any of the movies or anything. Just to think that, him and fucking Lando were just like, you know what, fuck it, we're done with this shit. Let's go take off and retire somewhere.
Yeah. Or if Lando, dropped him off on Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
And we had this really beautiful epilogue of him meeting his wife and his pervert grandfather. Who watches human dancers. Softcore porn.
I mean, it was pretty sexy, dude. You gotta admit.
It's true. It was. It's true. Yeah, I don't think I'm hope. Oh fuck, man! I don't want them to kill Chewbacca. I feel like with the death of Peter Mayhew, it would be a little too close to home, which is why I don't think they're gonna kill Leia in Episode 9.
Yeah, they have to though.
I just don't think they will. It's too sensitive. The community would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how. I mean, of course, with Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, the last film, he was just there as a consultant. He wasn't in costume at all. Mm-hmm. So they can easily carry that on with Jonas.
Right.
Whereas with Leia, I mean, yes, they're pulling old footage from The Last Jedi that they didn't use, but I don't know how they're going to make a narrative to continue her story out of just, shit they're pulling off the cutting room floor. So I don't know.
If I could have a vote, Lucasfilm, I would say don't.
Because we know you're fucking listening.
I know. We know you are.
They're the only ones that listen to this goddamn
us, you
show.
Sons of bitches. Yeah, I don't want him to die. I don't want. This sounds stupid now that I think. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't want any of the heroes to die. I just want the story to fucking end already. I'm so tired of having these mystery box what ifs, lead to nowhere, and yet we still suffer the consequences for them. I want the story to fucking end without us losing everything again. Mm-hmm. We've already lost Luke. He was the beginning of our introduction to Star Wars. We lost Han Solo, who was, another beginning intro to all of Star Wars. Can we just stop now? Can we just have everyone end happily, like Return of the Jedi?
Exactly. Why can't there be a happily ever after?
That was
some stories end that way, and it's fine.
Well, that's why George Lucas wrote these for 12-year-old boys and girls. The whole point of this was for kids, to teach them the story of good versus bad with the hero's journey as the through line. And then you end with everyone's alive and safe and it's a happy ending. That was the whole point. Just fucking please pay homage to that. I need that. If you start killing Lando and Princess Leia and Chewbacca off in this final film, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm not going to be able to take it.
That'll be a lot of grown man tears. I guarantee
Seriously,
it.
God damn it. I won't be able to handle it. I'll lose my shit.
Yeah, I'll probably have to take a day or two off of work if that happens.
This is brutal. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been our homage to Chewbacca, our deep dive into the character.
Good guy.
I don't
Good
feel
guy,
like he's been fleshed out as much as he could be. I don't feel like we've delved into his psyche as much as we could, but I feel like we do know him enough to have an entire episode about him.
Mhm.
You know, and that says a lot too. So
Yeah, and that's the ironic thing. It's like you feel like there really isn't much of him, but yeah, we can flap our gums for this long over him.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it for our show this week. We apologize for it being a week late, but we're going to do our best to do a HoloNet News next week, and we'll be back on track at that point. And maybe at some point in the future, we'll be able to start doing our reviews.
Yeah, that might happen at some point. God damn. You know, we did a pretty damn good job, Adam.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, we stopped because somebody hadn't watched something.
I thought I could pull it off without having watched the film, and then I listened back and I was like, no, I couldn't. I really could not pull it off. I sounded like a fucking idiot, and I was doing a disservice to you and to the ones of listeners. So
yes.
We need to do it again if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely got to get that started back up.
Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. What did you think of Chewbacca? Did we cover all the points that you cared to cover, or is there something about his character or his actor or just storyline arc, his narrative that you think is of note? If so, you can either email us at theinfernalbrotherhood@gmail.com or leave a comment below. And if you're listening to this in audio form, we do have the audio podcast as well. Check out theinfernalbrotherhood.com and find us wherever you get your podcasts under the Infernal Brotherhood the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. Leave us a rating or review, and we may see it someday, and we may or may not reply to it. If we do,
we'll totally appreciate it. That won't be lost.
Nevertheless, we will definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and until the next episode, whenever that may be, hopefully next week.
It's going to be next week.
May the force be with you.
You're going to need a nickname, because I ain't saying that every time.
Very fitting. I feel like I'm just gargling. What's up, Princess Mimi?
That's one thing I've never been able to do. I can't do the Chewy voice. Shows me.